did something about a photo shoot. What are you
Yeah,
modeling now? What's going
so
on there?
kind of cool news. So I raced for a company here called First Place Sports. Sim, who's been on here, he races for the same team. Now that team has three different levels of a team. They have the club team, the running team, and then they have what they call the elite team. And our elite team has a lot of cool perks that they throw our way. But this year, our elite team is being sponsored by. What happens when three runners
from different parts of the country
with different running stories
all get together?
Pure
RunTok
madness.
So listen in as we talk about all things running related.
And some things that maybe aren't running related.
As it's bound to be a good time. This is
RunTok Live.
What is up? Welcome to another episode of RunTok Live, episode 48, the birthday episode for Carolyn.
I know.
To match your age.
Okay, so this is the
48
first.
is not her age, no.
This is the first birthday where I've actually felt like an adult. Like, my physical therapist sent me a birthday card, and then my accountant sent me one.
It's 30, right?
30, yes.
Yeah. Trust me, you'll start feeling like an adult here pretty soon too.
Yep.
When I turned 30, I remember, when I was in my 20s, of course, I was still running all the time, right? And I ate all the time. Like I still eat all the time, but everybody was like, "You won't be able to eat like that all the time."
Yep.
Because your metabolism will catch up to you. I was like, no, dude, I run a lot. Trust me, I'm fine. And sure as hell, like they were right. As soon as I turned 30, it was like I started putting on pounds that I'd never seen before, and it was like, what is going on? So
Yep.
yeah, they were absolutely spot on.
I swear, I lived off of soda, Hot Pockets, Kraft macaroni and cheese all throughout college, all my 20s. And everybody gave me a hard time. I was like, same thing. Don't worry about it. Dude, I'm going to be a distance runner my whole life. I'll be good. Don't worry about it. 30.
And then
30
4
was
kidney stones
30
later.
was the turning point. Oh, man. Carolyn, what'd you do for your birthday?
So I spent it with family this past weekend, and then I'm going to a nice restaurant with some friends this weekend. So
Nice, yeah.
Quick question, just because this kind of came up earlier today, and I'm not trying to start an argument with my wife or anything like that, but when it comes to like dates and like anniversaries and birthdays and things, are you particular about the date? Like, is your birth date important? Like, you want to celebrate on that day?
My answer is yes. Yes on the birth date. I want to. Yeah. Short answer, yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I at least want to get like a card or something on like Valentine's Day or my birthday. But I don't care when we celebrate it, when we go out to dinner, or any of that business. Just give me a little something on the day itself.
Same thing with Valentine's. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, I celebrate on the day.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, it's just like we were raised a little bit differently because something came up. We're having our 5-year anniversary in October, but like a work conflict kind of came up for me, and I was really bummed about it because, it was going to kind of interfere with our anniversary date. And she was just like, "Well, it doesn't matter. We're going to Greece. Like, it's just we don't have to go on our anniversary. We just want to go." And I'm just like, "No, it's our anniversary trip. Like, I feel like I want to be in Greece for our anniversary." But she was just like, "No, it's just a trip. It's just a day. It's whatever." So I'm just like, that was weird to me, right? Like, but hey, it's just people are raised different ways. And
well, my wife and your wife would probably be excellent friends because my wife is the exact same way.
I think we've discussed that
because
before.
of her culture, right? But yeah, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
I told you guys, like she's never bought a Christmas present in her life. I do all the Christmas present buying. She buys my Christmas presents with my credit card on my Amazon account, then has me wrap them. So it's just something I've gotten used to. So actually, case in point, I got to show you guys this. This is the Valentine's present that my wife got me. Now, I want to make note of the fact that it says Diamond on the front here is written in a Sharpie. Diamond is what her name means in Thai. So what happened was her restaurant that she works at gave her this for Valentine's. It had candy in it. And she re-gifted it. And she crossed this out and put hubby on here. And this was my Valentine's Day present. I do like especially that she forgot to take out the Parmesan packets from the pizza party that they had in there. So,
Hey, gifts of Parmesan cheese is always good in my book, man.
so yeah, to each their own.
Carolyn, you don't get like Valentine's birthday kind of combo gifts, do you?
No, so that was one rule that I had with my husband. So his birthday is always on Thanksgiving, and mine is usually near Valentine's Day. And it's like, no, I want two gifts, even if it's something small. Like for Valentine's Day, he gave me a really nice card, and then we went to dinner. And then my birthday present, he got me something else. And it's like, it doesn't have to be like a physical expensive gift. Just give me a little something. So
Yeah, my birthday's really close to Christmas, so like the only time that I've ever really been okay with it was when like I got a car when I was like 18. So I was like,
yeah,
okay.
That's a big one. Yeah,
right. But if it's not like a car, then no, I need two presents.
If it's not Greece, we don't want it. Okay.
Oh man. Well, happy birthday, Carolyn. And
thank you.
I saw you got some miles in. You did 3.0 miles for 30. I was hoping you would do 30 miles for 30, but whatever.
My coach would have just lost her mind. Like she has my schedule perfectly done. I love her. And if she saw 30 miles, she would have just lost it.
Fair.
But no, it was a really great birthday. Only bad thing is I'm in a new age group for racing, and the 30 to 34 age group, as you get older, it gets more and more competitive, especially, into your 40s. And I'm like, crap. I mean, I'm going to have to get faster because you got all these, college athletes or whatever, that are coming for my age group.
People, the college athletes that have been in the workforce for a few years and now they're getting back into running.
Yep. Exactly. So,
but you're not quite to the important age bracket yet. You got a few more years before you get a fresh 5 minutes knocked off your BQ.
Before that, man, when I was 20, I used to be so like nervous about turning 30, and now that I'm 30, I'm like, you know what? It's just another new decade, man. Like, bring it on.
So. I don't know. You say that. I mean, I feel like there's a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely old now. Like, I don't know when that happened with me, but it happened. Like, maybe it was 40 for me. I don't know. I feel like it was in my late 30s, though.
I gotcha. I mean, maybe it's just because my 20s, I was dumb. I made some real dumb decisions. I had to grow up the hard way. After college, getting into drinking, things like that, getting into running. So now that I'm 30, I feel like I have a little bit better start than I had when I was in my 20s or turning 20. So,
Chase, I'll be
that's
excited.
Just what your 20s are for, like.
Yeah.
All those things.
I'm going to be excited, Chase, when you get your first Masters award, from whatever race that you do. And then you'll see all the other Masters runners, and they're going to be looking at you and they're like, that damn 40-year-old, because they're going to think you're the baby. of the Masters runners, and now you're going to suck up all their Masters awards because some new fast guy's coming in who's 40 years old.
I don't know when that'll be. I don't know. We'll see. I never did check and see what the like Masters results were for the Dopey Challenge or anything. So
I don't know. Those results. That's another thing I don't like about the Disney races. Those results are actually hard to navigate
yeah.
when you get to them. Like when you get to that page, it's I don't know. It's hard to navigate. Part of it's because there's so many racers, but yeah, it's hard to do.
But yeah, I'll get a Masters race in, I guess, sometime soon. I don't know. I need to start like running consistently. I keep getting to like the weekends, and then throughout the week, I just get busy with work, and then I'm just kind of like. Of course, that was my plan for the year anyway, right? Like I didn't want to be tied down to any kind of training schedule or any kind of goals or anything this year. So, but that being said, I am kind of getting the itch, you know.
Speaking of, so I don't know. I don't want to brag. I did a race this weekend, and I did it. I was sick, but I did it anyways.
It was a trail race, wasn't it?
It was a trail race.
Yeah.
I did a trail race, which you guys know, everyone knows at this point. I hate trail. Granted, it was a smaller race, but it was the RRCA Racing Series Championships. So they had a lot of like faster people, but they were doing the 50K. I did the 25K, and I ended up winning. I won the whole race by a large amount, and I think the second place person was like 22 minutes behind me, you know, for a 15.7 mile race. But I did a trail race and I won. So
I mean,
maybe,
you had a great pace from what I'm seeing.
yeah, I fell off mile 14. I was super sick, so I couldn't even breathe through my nose, and they were trying to tell me not to run the race. And part of that's because the race director also holds the course record, and he knew that I was trying to get his course record, which I ended up being. I was about, I think I was like 5 minutes off the course record. I think if I was not sick, because the course record's about a 6:47 pace on that trail, and I ended up at a 7:06 pace, but I was at like a 6:40 pace until mile 14. And then I basically had to kind of like jog because I just couldn't breathe anymore.
So
Now-
did you set the record for like the 10-mile marker or?
No. No, they don't do it that way. Also, I'll say this. If I break his records, you know, in some year down the road, which I do hope to do, I'll take it slightly with a grain of salt because he's held the record since 2016. And I saw the pictures from 2016. He was running in literally like knee-deep puddles of water, like mud, you know, beach sand. You know, it was like the worst weather conditions on that particular day that he broke the record. And he's held it since 2016. Like I ran outside of being sick, it was perfect conditions this weekend. And so if I break it, like he still ran, in my opinion, a better race.
The more
like,
the
I'd have to break it by a lot for me to like truly justify. All right, I think I could have take you that day as well. He'll never say that. He's too humble, but I'm saying it for him. Like he ran the tougher course for sure.
So I have a question. What were the snacks like on the course?
Well, I didn't use them because again, I just carried gels with me and treated it kind of like I would a half marathon. But they had like Ritz crackers and cookies and gummy bears and like the typical like ultra snacks, you know. And the way it's set up, they only actually had one aid station, but you cross that aid station for the 25K 3 times and for the 50K 6 times. Plus, the halfway point is the starting line, which is technically another aid station. So the 50K had 7 aid stops that they could have utilized in some way, shape, or form. So it was a great race. Like I highly recommend it. it's a good intro into trail running because it wasn't technical. I mean, especially when the weather's nice. Called the Angry Tortoise. It was cool. You know, I don't have my plaque. I think it's in the garage, but yeah, great race. So that's just me. I mostly wanted to brag about, hey, I ran a trail race, even though I hate trail.
So proud of you.
Good job.
Yay.
Good job. You may not have broke any records, but you were about the only one who didn't, I think, in
Yeah.
the past couple weeks.
Oh, wow, when you put it that way, Chase.
You literally
I'm saying it feels like every world record has gone down.
Way
in the
to
last
put
couple
me
weeks.
down without putting me down, you know?
I mean, you and the goose need to sit down and just commiserate Jake because he got 2 seconds to celebrate his world record before somebody stole it.
Listen,
It's like
that
5
is,
days.
we had the American indoor mile record. America had it. It was fantastic. Yard and the Goose, the guy we love, we had it.
And
for
Jakob Ingebrigtsen says,
5 days.
"Hold my beer."
I love when you said that too. I saw your Facebook post. Jakob goes, "Hold my beer."
Hold my
Dude,
beer.
he
Not only did he
crushes the
break
record.
the indoor mile record, he broke the indoor 1,500 meter record on the way to the mile record.
Yeah. I wish I was there to see Yared like watching it, just to see his reaction. Like how did he react? He held the record for 5 days. He could still say he was an American record holder.
Well, I mean, he's still the
mile.
American record holder, right? He's just not
He's not the world record holder.
yeah, world record.
They got beat. Like he beat it. It was like by half a second. It was something. Yard.
Was it?
Yard beat it. He didn't beat it by a lot. It was
Okay.
It was very, very close. But then Jakob came in and he crushed the record by a significant amount. I think it was by 4 seconds.
But didn't Nagoose and Kessler both beat it in that race? I thought they did, or maybe I'm thinking of the 3,000 with Hawker and Fisher.
No, you're right. You're right. Hobbs beat it as well.
Okay.
Number 2 all-time indoor record.
So
for the listeners,
Hobbs took second, 346.
Yeah.
347, set in Boston. Yeah, there was some good. Cam Myers was in there. I mean, it was a good field too. It was fast, some fast people. Yeah, Grant Fisher though. How about Grant, man?
Man, so I watched him a lot in college. That's like right around the time that I really got back into college track, and I never would have guessed that we would have seen that out of Grant Fisher. Like he was good, but I didn't think he was like that. And dude, the way he outkicked Hawker on that 3,000. Granted, I think that, his experience in the longer distance races helped him out a lot. Like Hawker tried to go a little too early during that race, but he made the race. Like I don't know that Grant Fisher, he was on pace to break the American record easy, but the world record, I don't know that Grant Fisher would have done that in the 3,000 without Hawker.
Yep. Dude, you know what this is getting me super excited for? Is the next Summer Olympics. Like, they're doing this already after the Olympics, crushing these records. They've got 3.5 more years to get into even better shape because they're not going to decline. They're going to get faster even.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Kerr, Hawker, Fisher, Nagoose, Jakob. Like those 5 at least are going to be. This is going to be so much fun just to watch these guys over the next few years leading up to the Olympics, which are going to be right here in LA. Not here, but here in the US in LA.
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Of course, we got 3 other world championships first, but
yeah, true. But I'm just saying.
I know.
The Olympics, the cream de crop, I don't know. Cream de You know what I'm talking about. Anyways.
Yeah. Some other notable records. The under 20 world record in the mile got broken.
Mm-hmm.
3:47:48 by Cameron Myers of Australia.
That's what I was saying by Cam Myers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cam Myers, yeah.
Ridiculous. High school world record, or no, U.S. high school record. Sadie Engelhart ran a 4:27:97 in the mile.
For the girls,
Just,
yeah.
it's ridiculous, man.
And then Kip Limo.
Yes.
I mean,
The
half
official
marathon. What was his pace for the half marathon? It was
4:20.
yeah, 4:20, and he ran like the middle 10K. I saw some kind of crazy split. He ran like his middle 10K of that race in some kind of crazy fast, like 4:09 pace, something ridiculous.
Well, and Carolyn, one of your favorite events, race walking.
Oh my!
Oh yeah.
That 20 kilometers, 20K, what 116. I don't remember his name. He's from China or Japan. Yaka, I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Yamanishi, I think it was. 116, 25K, race
That's
walking.
insane, man.
I'm gonna try it. I just want to see. Can I do it for like 20 millimeters or 20 millimeters, 20 meters?
You can. It'll hurt your hips. That's what I've heard is like you have to have really good, like aligned hips because they could get all out of whack while you're moving them.
Carolyn, you forget I'm 44. My hips hurt naturally already, anyways. So
Just wear like one of those hip braces and just go have at it, man. Just
yeah. Ooh, you know what is it with the Jacobs? I love Jacobs. I mean, you got Jakob, but I'm calling him Jacob. 2 world records, and then of course Kiplimo, the half marathon. Jacob. I love
Yeah,
it.
you got that legendary running name there.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that I did, but no, it's actually Jake.
Yeah, but yours just sounds cooler. What's my name? Chase. So I'll be chasing you down. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there's a bunch of catchphrases you can come up with that name. Well, my name's Jacob. I'll be Jaking. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing there.
So, out of all the world records that we just talked about, what do you guys think? What's the most? What was your favorite? And then, what do you think is the most impressive?
The mile. Both.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
mile for both.
Yeah.
The fact that it happened twice in 5 days, I think that's cool to say that, number one.
Mm-hmm.
But that is such a hard record that to beat. Now it's harder to beat, but yeah, and the fact that it was beaten by the amount that it was, which I want to say was 4 seconds. But at that 4 seconds in the mile, as you guys know,
Yeah, that's insane.
is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I want to say it was only like 2 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Look it up too.
1 point. Well, Ingebrigtsen took off 1.49 seconds off of Nagu this time.
Okay. On the Goose's time, so he was 2 seconds off the original.
He was. Yeah.
World record time.
I know Nagoose broke the record by 4 seconds, I want to say.
No. It was close. But regardless, I mean, part of that's because I love the mile distance.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're going to look at like what's the most impressive, as in what was the most dominating record-breaking performance, it was the half marathon. I mean, he broke it by 48 seconds.
Easily.
That's what I was going to say. I think just that the way that he did that, like I said, with that, the middle 10K was like something ridiculous. And I agree with you, Jake. I understand where you're coming from, but I think I would go with the half marathon as the most impressive one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was definitely the most dominating victory / record breaking.
Yeah.
I don't see that half marathon time getting broken like next year. You know, that time is going to stand for a few years for sure. I do think the same for the mile though too. If anybody breaks the mile record, it's going to be one of those 4 guys that we just talked about. Like, it's going to happen between them, maybe off and on, but Yeah, that half marathon's that's 48 seconds, man. 48 seconds off the world
Yeah.
record.
But I really liked watching both of Grant Fisher's races. I mean, the 3,000, like I said, him and Hawker going at it like that. I said Hawker made the race, and then Grant Fisher made the headlines.
Yeah.
And then in the 5,000, Grant Fisher was lapping people on his way to a world record. So
Well,
it was actually, I think I read like a bunch of people got lapped in that race. But anyway,
well, I also if you watch the race when him and Hawker were going at it, right? Hawker didn't run his standard race. Hawker likes to come from behind and whiplash past people and throw out a kick. He started his kick way early this time.
yeah,
And took the lead early on,
and
that did not work in his favor.
right, and I don't want to take anything away from Grant Fisher. I'm not trying to do that at all. He was great, but it almost looked like Hawker really wasn't even giving it his all at the end. Like the look on his face just didn't look like he was really. It kind of looked like he was just kind of giving it up. Maybe I'm a little bit of a Hawker homeboy there, but and he's probably doing a lot of like the same stuff that like Kerr and like Ingebrigtsen have done in the past, where they go up to those higher distances throughout like the indoor races. So he's trying to work on his endurance there, and then drop down to the mile in the summertime.
Yep. I was watching some of Jakob Ingebrigtsen's his threshold workouts that he does and his interval workouts that he does. He has like a series on YouTube, not a series, but they did a series on him on YouTube. And some of his workouts, like the 20 by 400 workout with 30-second recoveries, like 20 by 400 with 30 seconds recoveries, that's insane. And running at the pace that he's doing, which I didn't see what it was, but it's probably like 55, 56, something that he's just carrying for 40, for 2,400. It's like the level that these guys are at and the workouts that they do are insane. It's wild. Oh, and I have to say, not to go off topic for a second. So you guys know Sim, who we had on our podcast, right? He was there tonight for our photo shoot, which we'll talk about later. But we were testing out our shoes, and we just got these shoes like 4 days ago, right, or 5 days ago. And I asked him, I was like, "Oh yeah, did you test out the shoes yet?" He's like, "Yeah, I got 110 in them so far." Like 110 miles. It's been 5 days. Like you just got these shoes, and we got them in the nighttime. So technically, it's been 4 days. How do you have that many miles? That just goes to show like the level of commitment these high level runners have, and what they do. It's insane.
Well, and he posted he did a 28-mile long run in them.
Well, you see his paces, right? You watch him on Instagram because his now his fiance rides along and films him. That's his pace. Like he runs that for most of his runs. Like you ask him what his easy pace is, he'll tell you it's a 6:30. Like that's his easy pace. It's ridiculous, but he logs a ton of miles too. So, anyways, sort of leading into the fact that again, high level runners, they put in the work. Like obviously, there's genetic there in some way, shape, or form. I think, but a lot of it is they work hard. Like they definitely put in the time and the commitment to get there.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And so I will say I was sad that Josh Kerr didn't get to compete because he was sick. I don't know if y'all saw. So we couldn't get this rivalry that we had at the Olympics again. So I'm curious when this next rivalry is going to be.
Well, all I got to say, and I'm going to reference basketball here because I'm mad. At least Kerr gave the association a heads up that he was not going to be competing. He didn't pull LeBron James and then show up to the All-Star game and then be like, I'm not going to compete, guys. Sorry. I'm so mad about that. Sorry. Non-running related, but LeBron lost some respect for me over the All-Star weekend.
All-Star weekend has lost all my respect over the last. Yeah, I don't think I watched any of All Star Weekend.
Oh God, well,
Didn't
you didn't
didn't
miss
care.
much.
But I might be becoming a hockey fan
I
because
was gonna say,
LeBron bailed out with a bummed ankle, and then the USA and Canada broke out into a fight 6 seconds in. Like they were just throwing haymakers, and LeBron's over there like, oh, my ankle hurts, and these guys are like, I will die for my country. It's like.
Part of that is because Canada and U.S. are basically at war right now, so it's it's not a pretty situation. I honestly, I was surprised they kept that match like going, knowing about everything that's going on right now.
Mhm.
But
and they're gonna face off in the finals, so we'll get
Yeah.
more.
and
Yeah,
it
we'll get
doesn't
more.
help that they're already like they're rivals, right? Like
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's good. It'll make it. I'm gonna actually have to watch again next time they show up against each other.
Yes. I was gonna say that made me want to watch some hockey. That's for sure. It was a meme on Facebook. It was like LeBron bows out for a bummed ankle. NFL Pro Bowl went to a flag football game, and hockey is over here just.
WWF and yeah, except it's real. So,
Speaking of WWF, I don't know how long has it been now, but I watched my first wrestling event in like 20 years a few weeks ago. The Royal Rumble was on, and it was the week of the Pro Bowl. It was the week of the Pro Bowl because I was like, well, I can either watch the Pro Bowl or I can watch the Royal Rumble. Yeah, let's watch the Royal Rumble.
Pro Bowl is a joke, also. So yeah,
I had a blast watching the Royal. My wife came in, she was like, "Are you watching wrestling?" I was like, "Yeah, it's the Royal Rumble. Of course, I'm watching wrestling." Like I do that all the time. Like
Yeah.
I've done that every year.
Oh, funny. I don't know how we got I probably got us off subject in some way, shape, or form, but records. There were records broken. That's where
There
this
were
all
records
started.
broken.
There were records broken. What was the count? It was hold on. 7 records in 9 days.
Nice.
Counting 2 records by one person, Jakob. And that includes Yard and Goose's record, which was surpassed 5 days later.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be, as long as these guys are running for the next, I mean, they're prime. They still got 6-7 years of prime running at this level, and then some of them may, like, I could see Grant Fisher becoming a marathoner. Like, to me, he's got a marathoner's build. I could see him becoming a marathoner.
Yeah, he's kind of better at those distances. He's all like Connor Mance, right? Like he's
Yeah.
always been kind of better at the longer distances. And honestly, I think I wouldn't count it out for Jakob either. I think that we could see him make the jump here in the next few years.
Yeah, he would have to make the jump wholeheartedly, though. Like, he gave that half marathon a shot, and all intents and purposes, he ran a great half marathon, but obviously wasn't the half marathon that he wanted or that other people probably thought he would run.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no, you're right. He's probably my second, like, of the big names, Kerr, Hawker, Fisher, Nagoose, Jakob. I would take probably Fisher as like the top marathon candidate, and then Jakob and Kerr would probably go like 2-3, in all honesty, in my opinion.
Yeah, because Kerr did a half last year too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough from the Goose in the like longer things.
I can't think of like him doing a longer thing. Like I don't know. I don't remember him doing anything past like maybe he's done a 2 mile before, but I don't know.
Yeah, because I look at Fisher and he reminds me a lot of oh God, why am I forgetting his name right now? Oregon. used to run. He made the Olympic teams for America. Why can't I think of his name? Oh my
I don't know.
goodness!
I don't know what to tell you there.
I know you guys know.
I'm sure we do, but Oregon's had a lot of runners make the USA team, so
No, he just
it
made
doesn't really narrow it
he
down.
made the marathon Olympic team with
Made the marathon Olympic team.
and then he competed at the trials this year, but he ended up doing horrible.
Mm.
And I've always said he's a jackass. Why can't I think of his name right now? You guys talk. I gotta look this up. It's gonna bug me.
So, yeah, Nagoose is an on-cloud athlete, Jake, and you were talking earlier about some on-cloud shoes that you got for some, and then you said something about a photo shoot. What are you modeling now? What's going on there?
Kind of cool news. So I raced for a company here called First Place Sports. Sim, who's been on here, he races for the same team. Now that team has 3 different levels of a team. They have the club team, the running team, and then they have what they call the elite team. And our elite team has a lot of cool perks that they throw our way. But this year, our elite team is being sponsored by OnCloud, which is a pretty big deal, and it's the closest thing to like a real feel sponsored athlete kind of thing that this team has ever had as a team, and most of us has had as individual runners, with the exception of like Sim, who's also sponsored by Tracksmith, right? Um, but so yeah, they sponsored our team, and they took us out over the weekend, this last weekend, the elite team, and they kind of surprised us with what we're going to be getting throughout the year. And the first thing is they gave us, I don't have the actual shoes, they're in my truck because I just came back from a photo shoot with them, but they gave us the on cloud, the Cloud Boom Strikes, which are their elite road racing shoe, designed to be a marathon shoe. What's cool about that shoe is it's a 40 millimeter stack height. And the way that they measure the stack height is from the outside of the heel to the bottom of the shoe. Now, what they're getting away with is they've added a insert into the shoe. So it's inside the shoe. That's an extra 10 millimeter stack height. So it's technically a 50 millimeter stack height shoe that is race legal because of the way that the races measure the shoe. I tested it out today for the first time, which was really cool. But yeah, today, so we got those shoes. We get our singlet, which is on cloud singlet with our First Place Sports team printed on it. We get both half tights and running shorts. We get elite. They called them elite socks. I haven't seen them yet, so I don't know what classifies them as elite socks. Hats, and then throughout the year, we're getting another minimum of 3 pairs of shoes from OnCloud, and then we'll get like other gear like jackets and stuff like that throughout the year as well too. And then today I got to go do a photo shoot, which I've never done for a big brand before. But they came out, they invited the elite team only, and about half of our team showed up because not everyone could make it because of work and other stuff. And we did a photo shoot in the park. They did photos of us running as a group, running as a team, and they did just the men, just the women, and then they did individuals, and they had me, posing in different stretches and, just looking at my shoes and tying my shoes. And
we're gonna need to see a preview here and get up and show us some of your poses.
Yeah, no. Nope, not going to happen. I could show you, I don't even know if it'll come up on here, but here's some of the running videos that we were doing as a team. So all wearing our on cloud like team gear and all that. And you saw Sim there in the front. He was in the very front. So it was pretty cool. It was a neat experience. We're sponsored by a big brand now. The catch is, and this is Chase, you're going to fill me on this one a little bit. You guys know I love my Nike. and I love my Vaporflies and my Alpha Flies. They are highly encouraging us to race in on cloud shoes. At least for like these big races that we do, Boston, the Gate River Run, which is coming up, some of the Grand Prix that are local here. Like if it's a smaller race, I'm sure they wouldn't care. So I'm going to give these a go at Gate River for my first like race experience. And again, they said, if it's a shoe that you just don't feel comfortable running in, it doesn't, if it hurts you, they're going to say like, yeah, that's fine. Like race in whatever you need to race in. But their words were, we highly encourage you to race in our shoes. And then our team captain separately highly encouraged us to race in those shoes. So
That's how Brooks was, because what they can do with that is if they get a good race photo of you, you're used in promos.
yeah. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is the closest I've ever felt to being like a sponsored athlete with the amount of free stuff that they're giving us. I already get free race entries through the race team that I'm on. So now I get free race entries. I'm getting free gear. These shoes aren't cheap. Any shoe from any brand, to get free shoes is a cool deal. But the singlets, everything else they're factoring in, the discounts on Cloud on other merchandise if we want to buy extra stuff. It's a cool thing. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'll post some videos that I actually filmed some content of our photo shoot today, and I'll put some kind of video out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's really cool, and I think that I've always had like a sense of what's the word, pride in like the brands that or I feel committed to the brands that are willing to work with me, like Alter
Yep.
Ego and and First Form. So yeah, in that regard, I don't think I'd have a whole lot of trouble wearing their shoes. Now, of course, if you turn out to not like their shoes, or they don't fit your feet right, or they kind of mess with your stride, then you got a whole nother issue there. But or if you're going for a PR, right? If you're trying to set a PR at a marathon, you want to pick your shoes out. So but at the same time, On Cloud's come a long way. I've still not tried any of them, but I've really wanted to on a few different occasions. I almost bought the Cloud Monsters and the Monster 2s, I think. I've heard good things about that shoe that you got there, Jake. So, and like I said, they've got some really high level athletes in track and field right now. So I think that I don't know. I'm intrigued to see what you think about their shoes.
Well, whenever I pictured On Cloud initially, I always pictured their shoe that had like that clobbered bottom, of the shoe. Yeah. And I was like, I don't like that. Like that's not for me, right?
Yeah,
and
but
I
they've
tested
gotten
those
rid of
shoes
that.
out. Now they haven't gotten rid of it. They have some of those shoes that are still out there, but their elite racing shoes are not like that. Now I've only put 6.5 miles in those shoes. I ran in them today during lunch for the first time, and they felt good. My first impression, I'll say it here I was going to say live. I know we're not live, but I'll say it here on the podcast, is they're a solid B plus right now. I think they are better for someone with my kind of strike. And I tend to run more on my toes, and I tend to rarely ever heel strike at all. And the way that the foam is formed on the bottom of that shoe tends to be more favorable for my kind of foot strike. So I like them for that versus like when I run in Vaporflies, I feel like there's not enough comfort up front, and it's very cushiony in the back, right? In the heel area. That's where everything is. So far they're a solid B plus. They don't look as pizzazzy as other shoes out there, right? So if you're aesthetics, they're a C. But performance, I haven't done anything fast in them yet, and that's what I'll throw in a speed workout probably over the weekend. do some tempo miles and see how they feel. But fit, they're true to size. That's the other thing I like about them. So we'll see. I don't know what others. I know the other shoes. Unfortunately, I can't say those yet because they're not on market yet. We're getting them as they come on market. Um, but I'm excited about those. Now, those are all trainers. None of those. These are the racing shoes that we're getting, the ones that I've already mentioned. But the other shoes will be there. Some trainers that are coming out.
Right. It's like a little history on their shoes. I know, like whenever they first kind of hit the running scene, they had what they called the speed board that they put underneath those little
Yep.
loop pad things that you were talking about there, Jake. And then everybody hated that, right? I don't think I read a single good review about them. But I can't remember. I think it might have been the Cloud Monster. But yeah, one of those shoes, like they came out and they were like, you know what, you guys are right. We're doing away with that, and they've just been getting stellar reviews ever since.
Yeah, they're as a company, I love their gear so far. From what we got, like the singlets and stuff like that, and there's more to come. And that's where I go back, and I don't want to circle in another company, but Brooks, I always loved their gear. Like to me, actually, Brooks was some of my favorite gear, like my favorite singlets in particular. It was just the shoes never did it for me ever.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like not just one type of shoe. Like it wasn't just the Hyperion shoe that's the one that initially did me in, but there are other shoes too, which just didn't do it for me.
What are you going to be sporting these days, Carolyn, now that you're not on the Brooks team anymore?
Oh, sorry.
So the weird thing, I'm still I still run in Brooks 80% of the time. Like my easy days, my speed days are in Brooks. I did go to the Nike outlet store and they had Vaporfly 2s on sale for $99. So I got 2 pairs of those. Yeah. I also want to try, I've heard really good things about the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s. Have
Yeah, the
y'all run into
Saucony Endorphin, the pros and the speeds are great shoes. And I think Chase will agree with me too. Good deal on the Vapor 2s, if that is in fact what they are, because the Vapor 3s were not that good. The Vapor 2s are great. I love the Vapor 2s.
Mm-hmm. Not as good as the Vapor 1s though.
The 4% is that?
No, the original Vaporflies.
Oh, okay.
Vaporfly Next Percents. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And it was
good
the
deal.
Vaporfly Next Percent 2s.
Yeah.
But the Vaporfly Next Percents were less comfortable because they had that vapor weave upper, right? Which was kind of it took some getting used to, but man, the pop on those things, man, that was so, whew, man, that was really good.
Well, I still have, and you're gonna see me in my running shorts, guys. But that's okay. I still have my OG.
The 4%.
These bad boys.
Yeah.
Nice.
These are. I keep them on display now. That's what I have. And I have the blue ones right there as well too.
Yeah, my vape ones are back there. They're back there with I got the green and purple ones, so I display them next to my Joker Funko Pops.
So when are you gonna race in those the vapes?
Yeah. The pair I have right now are almost ready for the graveyard, so I'll just pull the shoes I got out. But yeah, I want to go to a running store and officially get fitted because now I have all these brands that I can try on. And I did that before was it Houston? No, I did it before Chicago this past year. And a lot of the racing shoes are meant for people with not super narrow feet. So my options were a little limited. But I know all these brands are supposed to have amazing shoes for the 2025 year. Like Hoka has their Mach X2 or whatever. Brooks is coming out with their Vapor, or not their Vapor, their Hyperion 5s. There's a new Saucony Endorphin series. So I'm like, I'm excited to try on all these new shoes.
For sure. Yeah. Nike's always been my go-to, but
Mm-hmm.
I will say, so I've had in the last year or so, I've had 3 pairs of Brooks after being anti-Brooks shoes for a long time. First pair I had, I know I've talked about it on the show before, but the first pair I had was the original Ghost Max. Love that shoe. Love that shoe. Very versatile too. I feel very comfortable picking up the pace, but I also feel comfortable running slow in. So it was a great shoe. And then I went with the Hyperion Max. Those not so much. Like they're a pretty good shoe up to about 10 miles for me. Anything past 10 miles, my feet start hurting. Because of how much I loved the first Ghost Max, I got the Ghost Max 2s for Disney. Because I was like, that'd be a good shoe to wear from 5K day all the way up to marathon day. And they don't have the same magic. So I don't know what they did there. The specs on paper, they look very similar, but they did something different, and I'm not a big fan.
They're a lot more rigid. And like
Yeah.
clunky is a word I would use.
Yeah. They're a little more clunky, yeah.
well, Chase, the problem is, where do you think Disney gets this magic from? All right, it sucks the magic out of all those shoes, and that's what happened. You ran in a magicless shoe. Disney sucked it out.
That's what happened, yeah.
You should have been like your brother-in-law and worn the streak flies, man. Might as well have.
He's my brother. Yeah, he wasn't my brother-in-law. He was actually my brother. But yeah, like I said, I felt like a horrible big brother because I let him wear those.
Can we get him on the podcast so I can just hound him for a little bit for that? I just want to dog on him just for a little bit. As Carlos, the runner, would say, "Oh, he did the 5K marathon. That's what he did." So
yeah, he did. Yeah, those were awful. Those are awful. They came out with the 2s yet of those?
I don't know. I think I told you. Did I give mine to you? I gave mine to you.
Yeah, you gave your street flies to me, and I wore them one time. That was
just say I gave them away. I didn't want them.
You gave them. Yeah, you sent them to me. I tried them out, and I was like, "Nope, they suck. That's a horrible shoe."
Well, I take pleasure in knowing that you and I essentially have the same taste in shoes and the same feel for shoes too. It sounds like what we look for in a shoe.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's good, and that's why I think you'll like these On Clouds if you were to test them out.
I'll tell you what, if you happen to lose a pair and they give you another one, just go ahead and send them.
See what I can do.
If you lose a pair on Cloud, don't listen to the.
No.
I gotta just be like, I lost them and I need to run in them for Boston, right? You need me to.
Boston, we have a lot of our team is going up there for that. So On Cloud / First Place Sports is going to have a big showing in Boston. And I think most of us should be corralled in the same place, at least on the men's side, because we're kind of all in that same time range. We'll see. I haven't gotten. I don't know. Do you remember, Chase, how far in advance does Boston send out their bib numbers?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. I haven't done it since 2018, so I just don't
feel
remember.
like it would have been by now, though. Maybe not. I would say you'll at least have it next month sometime, a month out, right? Probably a month out.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following all that. I'm on all the Boston Facebook pages, and no one's posted anything yet, so we'll see. Carolyn, we got to get you qualified.
I'm trying, man. Training's going real well for this marathon, so we'll see.
Well, and I still might do, Chase, and hopefully your offer still stands. I still might go up there for Monumental. Now, I don't know that I'll do the marathon. It'll most likely be the half, but that is an option, a very viable option right now.
I would, yeah, I imagine I'll do the Monumental for sure. If nothing else, I'll be up there for it. But, yeah, no, I'll probably do the Monumental.
And then, Carolyn, you made an announcement on TikTok about your next race. I know, Chase, you didn't see it because you haven't been on social media in a little bit. So why don't you tell the world where marathon you're doing next?
It's called the Jim Thorpe Marathon. It's in the Poconos, so northwest. No, yeah, is it northwest? Upstate
It's in
Pennsylvania.
the Poconos Mountain. It's very
Mhm.
famous mountains in Pennsylvania.
Yep,
Cool.
and
That'd be
it's
fun.
downhill. Yep, it's not as bad as a Rebel race. It's 0.5 to a 1% grade decline pretty much the whole way.
You've been thinking about that one for a while, haven't you? I think you told us. I think you told us before that that was on your short list. So,
Yep, and I'm training for it. This will be my first 50-mile week of the cycle, which
Okay.
is wild to me. So I'm excited, and it's near a railroad track.
It's
So it's
on
kind of like
rail
that
trails.
fresh.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Yep. Yeah. But it's got the consistency. It's like crushed gravel. But it's just like the Tunnel Light Marathon series that, if you want to
That's
qualify for
the
Boston or whatever, they recommend that.
so
So
I
it's
raced that one too. I've done Jack and Jill, which is part of that series.
same thing. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
How was the gravel? Was it bad at all?
No, it's the same. I'm just now seeing the Jim Thorpe thing, and there's people leaving reviews comparing it to Jack and Jill, and they call it the End of Tunnel, but it's the Tunnel Light series. It's very
Yeah.
comparative. I imagine not as much downhill though, because the Jack and Jill is 2,600 feet of net downhill.
Yeah, no. This one is 650 feet of net downhill. So it's a little bit nicer on your quads. The one downside is there's no GPS signal. So I got to manually lap.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
how
which is
what did we do without Garmin smartwatches 10 years ago, right? We all
I mean, yeah. And I'll have a pace band on, so it shouldn't be a huge issue.
live it. Listen, Kevin Costner used a kitchen timer with his athletes.
So smart, man.
I say
Whatever
Kevin
works.
Costner.
But no, I'm excited and finally announced it because people were asking and noticing, hey, you're posting your training, and I was like, that's a good point. I should announce. And I was waiting until I was like mentally in a good place. My running was consistent, so now I'm fully training.
and when is that again?
It's the week after Boston, so April 27th.
I'll
Yeah.
be doing a half marathon that same day
Oh, nice,
in
man.
Milwaukee.
Ooh, which
You're going
half?
from Boston to Milwaukee to do a half. You're
Remember
going
we
from the
talked
Boston
about
Marathon
this.
to Milwaukee to do a half marathon.
Literally the day I fly to Boston on Friday, I race Boston on Monday. Tuesday, I fly from Boston to Milwaukee. I'll be in Milwaukee for that whole week. So I'm doing the RRCA convention. I'm meeting Emily Sisson, as we talked about. And then that Saturday, I know she's not Sisson now, she got married at something else, but then that Saturday, the RRCA puts on a half marathon as part of a big, they have a marathon and a half marathon up there. But I'll be doing the half marathon because we get entry into it through the RRCA convention. So
That'll be
I thought it
fun.
was Dakota Lindberm that you were meeting.
Oh, Dakota. Did I say him? Yeah, Dakota. It is. Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
not Dakota.
Dakota's name's
Not
different now.
Dakota
Yeah, but
Windward anymore. It's Dakota
okay.
something else. So,
Well, that'd
but
be
yeah,
cool. That'd be fun.
yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can't do what you did in Berlin, Chase, and get me a cell phone number to or at least an Instagram account that's real
I'll tell you what, man. Grant Fisher was one of the guys that I met over there, man. I wish I would have been able to get him on here.
Right?
Grant Fisher, if you're listening to this podcast, because I know, it's
All the
going
big
around
names,
the
all the big
professional
names listen to
circuit right
this.
now. Remember me from Berlin.
I'm that one guy from
I'm
Berlin.
that one guy that just jumped into the running circle with you. And I looked at you and I was like, what are you doing here?
You should have just like pretended like you guys were best friends when you went up there and be like, bro, I didn't know you were gonna be here. Like,
It was kind of that way. I mean, it was very similar to that. Like I said, I looked right at him. Nobody else was acknowledging them at all. I looked right at him. I was like, "What are you guys doing here? You're track athletes. Why are you here for the marathon?"
yep. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. So yeah, hopefully you can get us a little notoriety on our podcast.
Yeah, or at least maybe a celeb coach. I know there's going to be some big coaches there.
Yeah.
The coach from BYU is going to be there. So that'd be cool to get him on. So we'll see. Well, guys, I think we're talked out for RunTok Live tonight.
Hit the 1 hour mark. Yeah, my dog fell asleep over there. He's asleep in his chair. Not snoring yet, but he'll be there here in a little bit. So.
Awesome.
Well, you can find us if you want to hang out with us outside of the podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, all at RunTalk Live. You can email us at runtalklive@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram at Carolyn M. Levinway, and then TikTok at Carolyn McDuff. Chase, where can people find you?
Oh, about any of them at Chase or No Pace. Like Jake said, I'm taking a little bit of a social sabbatical right now, but I will get an email if you message me on TikTok. So that's probably your best bet. I'm also back into video games right now. So if there's any Destiny 2 players out there, if y'all want to get into a raid, hit me up. Jake, what about you? Where can people see you at?
Not on any video game platform ever. So unless Nintendo 64 has an online platform that I don't know about. No, you can find me mainly on TikTok, but all social media platforms at The Cultural Runner. And that's it. That's all. Yeah, I'm on there all the time. No sabbaticals for me.
All right. Well, that's it for episode 48 of RunTok Live. We're still doing something big for episode 50, right, Jake? You and I are both giving away some big prizes. What we're going to do, we haven't quite ironed that out yet, but make sure y'all stay tuned for episode 50, episode after next one.
For sure. See you guys later. Peace.
Deuces.